I'm not sure we've ever actually had this conversation on this channel about market manipulation, shill bidding, and just auctions in general, how auctions work and what you should know about auctions. And this is all coming up because over the past week on eBay, there was supposed to be a massive auction. A Pokemon Silver WATA 9.8 A++ was being auctioned off. Open auction, no reserve, and it was already over $15,000 and slated to end on the Sunday. Probably gonna sell somewhere in the $15,000 to $25,000 range. Really big auction. It was being consigned through Z&G Emporium on eBay. So the person wasn't selling it himself, they sent it to the consignment place. The consignment place was running the auction. And frankly, Z&G Emporium blew it. Could not take the pressure, couldn't handle the expensive game. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Z&G Emporium. Z&G actually had to pull the auction. They had to cancel the entire auction because the guy who consigned it was shill bidding on the item. They were pumping the price of the Pokemon game. They were bidding on the game itself. So Z&G did the only responsible thing at that point, cancel the auction. He put the seller on blast as well. You can go watch his video. He has the name of the consigner, the seller, the shill bidders. Z&G breaks down all the details of who it was, what they were doing. All that can be found in his video, so go check that out if you want to know. This video is going to be more general because even before that Pokemon Silver got shill bid, right, I had talked about it with a couple of other collectors, and the consensus amongst us, like myself included here, was that yes, it was absolutely going to be shill bid. Shill bidding in itself is pretty common, I would say. Put it this way, if I'm going into an auction atmosphere, be it on eBay, Heritage Golden, PWCC, any of these places, and I'm buying something that's worth more than $100, especially if you're going up to $500, $1,000, $10,000, there is always a chance that it's going to be shill bid. You should honestly expect that an item is going to be shill bid. It's funny because a lot more casual collectors, casual people in the markets, they see like the private auction houses, be it PWCC, Golden Heritage, whatever, right? They see these private auction houses and they're always like, oh, those places are shill bidding, everything is bidding on their own stuff. But then they go to eBay and they're like, oh, yep, there's a sales comp, like there's what the auctions are ending for. That's the price right there. And shill bidding on eBay is easier than any of these private auction houses, or at least it's the exact same level of difficulty. eBay, frankly, has a lot less consequence. Like if you go shill bid and get caught or buy your own item on one of the private auction houses, you will be kicked off. There will be fees associated. You will have consequence. On eBay, I mean, hey, you win your own item, you just cancel the auction and like no one cares, right? It doesn't even matter. You probably won't even hear from eBay. Like it literally just does not matter. eBay doesn't care. So with eBay, if you're gonna shill bid, I mean, if you've consigned a game with someone else, you can just go bid on your own game, right? There's nothing to stop you from doing that. The consignment director themselves would have to stop you. How Z&G canceled the bids on the Pokemon Silver. But if they don't know, you can just take your own account and go bid on stuff, right? The thing is, if you have only a single account and you are shill bidding or pumping your own game, you can only bid it as high as someone else is bidding against you. You can't just set an infinite price. eBay's bid system doesn't work like that. Other auction houses, someone else has to push your bid. So if you put in $1 million and someone only bids up to 2,000, the bid will show 2,000. The thing that was happening with the Pokemon Silver, and when it gets a lot more dangerous, I guess, is they were using 2 accounts to shill bid. So if you have 2 accounts, which again, if something's consigned, right, all you have to do is you can use my account and one friend. Or even when you're shill bidding your own stuff, you could just use a friend's account. Again, it's so easy. But in this case, they had 2 accounts. So now you can literally shill bid as high as you want. You can take one account and enter in 25,000. You can take the other account and enter in 24,500, and boom. All of a sudden, the bid is going to be sitting at that 24,000, 25,000 level. You can move the price wherever you want with 2 accounts. So if you're ever going into an auction and you're worried that someone might be shill bidding, yeah, you can check bid history, you can look at all this stuff, but in general, you should probably just assume it might be taking place. And that's one of the biggest reasons with all of these auctions that you should never be bidding early. Like, I don't care if it's eBay, Heritage Golden, any of these places, you should never really place bids early. Because again, if someone is going to shill bid or pump an item with only one account, let's say you placed your bid at $200, I can now take my pump account and bid you up to that $200 mark. I can now set a floor thanks to you bidding early, right? One account is now more powerful if you bid early. And on these other other auction places that actually use rolling extensions, it's a lot harder to shill bid and pump your item. Or at least it's a lot riskier that you actually might buy your own game. Because if it's in a rolling extension and you're bidding against literally one other person, that single person could just decide to not bid again, and then suddenly there's no canceling or anything. With eBay, again, if you bid someone up or you're shill bidding, pumping, you could just cancel your bid as well. So if you go into these auctions with the assumption that everything is shill bid, everything is manipulated, anything can be, right? So you should just assume everything might be. And that's why when you actually assess pricing, or you look at sold listings, or you're trying to come up with the value of something, you can't just look at the single sale and be like, yep, that's the price right there. Like, you see it so much with pricecharting.com. People just open it up and they see one number and they're like, yep, that number right there, like 68.74 is the value of this item. Not a penny more, not a penny less. And if there's an auction that sells for $150, then it's manipulated, pumped, and you know, it gets really dumb really quick. And the thing with all these price charts and using all of these pricing averages is they are lagging indicators. So a lot of the time, if you're actually assessing sales data on PSA 10s, WATA games, whatever it is, you have to actually look at what else has sold, how long ago did it sell, and what are the actual odds of a sale being replicated. And then you have people who just don't know that much. Like, let's say the auction was manipulated, right? Someone sells a PSA 10, it usually sells for $3,000, it gets pumped to $5,000. There's gonna be people who look at it and be like, yeah, you know, the card usually only sells for $3,000, so $5,000 is pretty weird. I wouldn't act on that data. I wouldn't really take that as a, you know what I mean? You don't take it as seriously as you might. But there's a lot of people who really have no idea how any of this work, who, oh my god, it just sold for $5,000, so the card is now $5,000, oh my god. And because even if something seems really obvious to people who are really deep into this hobby, there's a lot of people who don't understand how it works. And on the opposite side of it, there's also people who simply don't understand prices either. Like, for everything that gets manipulated that isn't called out, way too many things are called out as being manipulated. Or in the world of video games, oh my god, everyone just loves to say money laundering. I don't know why this started or where this came from. You can go watch Carl's original video, the Carl Jobst fraud manipulation video. Never once does he claim money laundering. But in the world of high-end video games now, money laundering is like the #1 thing people say. It makes your brain melt. It is insane to me. So if you are a card collector, at least be thankful that people just say like shilled or pumped or manipulated or something. In video games, we have to deal with money laundering on any game that sells for like 10,000 plus. It's absolutely insane. But for everything that gets called out as manipulated, way too many items also get called out as manipulated by people who simply don't understand as well. And that's why this becomes so difficult as to what is or what isn't, which, going back to the main point here, if you just assume everything is shill bid and everything is manipulated, then that is just how the market is. And if people act on a manipulated price, like say the Pokemon Silver would have sold, right? The guy shill bids it up to 25, 30, maybe even 40,000, right? If in the end someone does actually pay for it, because especially when it goes through people we know, like Z&G would confirm if payment was received or not. If someone does pay for it after the shilling and everything, it becomes even more difficult because then someone out there was willing to pay this price. So I guess the biggest things are, please don't bid early on auctions, and 2, don't act like shilling is this weird, oh my god, like shilling is incredibly common. It's incredibly easy. Manipulating auctions, pumping prices, canceling bids, canceling orders, all of that is super easy to do. So assume it's taking place and only bid whatever it is that you want to bid. The biggest thing is that we're in auction atmosphere, people get excited, people start bidding. Only ever bid what you want to bid. If you see something and all of the data, you can look at other sales, other comps, all this stuff. If everything else is telling you that this price is too expensive, then you're right to have some skepticism and you should not continue pushing the bid. Overall, just a good reminder to be careful out there and remember your limits. Say thank you to every single patron who helps support the channel, as well as YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys. Let me know your thoughts on shill, bidding, eBay, market manipulation, auctions, all of that stuff. Hit the like button before you go, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.